Okay, page Reish Lamed Gimel, the last leg of this Maimer, which goes back to explain the beginning of the Maimer, which Lavin in Drshbi. So first of all, we just finished saying, to summarize, he spoke about how the ultimate last showing is the ultimate connection of Eden to the Ebershter is to Sasim Deiraisa through Nimisater. Said 2 points to it. Number one, like he said, showing the two, it's a double knot, as they say, double knot. One knot is the Gali the second knot is the Nimisater. So Nimisater, it's a double knot. And he said another thing, not some places that two knots are the Ava Ve'ira. So again, in order to reach Ava Ve'ira, you need Nimisater. So now he started saying, it's in page, in page Reish Lamed Gimel, six lines from the bottom. 6 lines from the bottom. He says, Ve'ika hoya gilu prince agali, that I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, so the wrong one. Okay, line before. B'shvu is also ikar me'agilu prince gali. Tervav shegam ze prince sosim gam kenach ze beikach azer ve'helam ve'ikar hoya gilu prince agali. Gal is prince sosim aderashbi. But like he said before, the ultimate purpose of Stephen Sassim in the ultimate way to get it is through it should be Gals, because the din of Torah is Gals, Pnimius. When was the Sassim Nizgale in the Matan Torah and Shavuos, the Gile was only Nikla. When was the Sassim Nizgale? That's how they should be. והנה תלמידי רב עקיבא אין יסוד יותר שבעל פה. בכלל וינון חז"ל רב עקיבא, it says, the Gemara says there's 5 Talmidim that he had, and they are the base of Ter Shabal Peh, the base of Stam Sifri, Rabbi Yehuda, Meir. The point is that all the Barais of Ter Shabal, all the Mishnahs, Barais of Ter Shabal Peh, everything is based on the Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva. She'ein Zirat El Yeshni, She'chol Shtak Ater Mizol, like the Gemara describes that there was a big sale, and the Torah was almost forgotten, could have been forgotten. Rabbi Akiva Talmidim was Zirat El Yeshni. Rabbi Akiva and his Talmidim, all Talmidim, one of them was Rabbi Shimon also. Achikar in Yonah was Gadater. But the other Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva, like Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi, their purpose is the Mishnah and Baraisa, that's Nigla the Torah. Mashenga Gil Sasim the Torah the Rashbi. The Gil of Sasim the Torah Rashbi, which is the Zayah. Kayador and the Shampres Atzil Shalei Dester Stavs the Biyah. So Rashbi, because it's the Shampres Atzil Shalei Dester Stavs the Biyah, he is the Gil of Sasim the Reis. Lachin Yador Shabalach is a Nigla Storop in the Series of Razim the Reis. Even in Allah is a Nigla in Allah, which is Nigla, even there, Rashbi saw the side, the secret. This was the whole the purpose, the mission of Rashbi was to reveal the Sasim the Reis. Like by Mashem Isal Kuz and
he was also a Talmud of Rabbi Akiva, right?
Exactly. See, he big Nigla also.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But
he was one of the 5.
You're right. It was one of the 5. It's on Shabbos now, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But his chiddush was that he was also in Nimis Ater. Okay, that answers the question that he said in the beginning of the Maimer. Why is Lag Ba'im such an important day? אומרים שהם מסל כוסים, נקרא הילולא, כשם שהם עדיין כמו שהם חסנל, שהם גילו פרס הסוסים, הם גילו פרס הסוסים. כמו כן, רק באמר, כמו כן, רק באמר, נקרא בשגלו דרשבי, זה שעליון העיקר גילו פרס הסוסים. So he throws in earlier when he spoke about Matan Torah, he just says that the Ika Gilui of Prince Magali Torah, I've shown it Prince Sosim also. But so that's my regular Matan Torah. Yom Chasanat and Matan Torah. So the day of his Takas on Ashbi, which Ashbi was in Yonis Gilui Sosim, is also in a state of, this is also called Chasanose. It's also Hilullah. Hilullah is a Chasan. Like it says, it is. So this is my mind now. Not tell it. My love me Lord goes be a tell. It says clearly that like Boy must consider the day of Matan Torah Pnimis HaTorah. That's the lashon. Here is the hill. I know. First of all, it's Anocha, but it's not clear the words. Still, we still have to understand why is that happen. That happened only the day of his passing. Why Punkt his passing is called Hilullah. That was his avodah, his entire life. Okay, so we know from the Lone Rebbe always taught us that he's going to bring it back later in this mind also, that the day of the passing, that's the ultimate expression. Kol avidas hashovet b'kol yimei chayav, says Nikas HaKedesh, the Rebbe always talks about Dalet Tevis, that the day of the tzaddik passes away, that is the ultimate, because that he achieved his ultimate goals, and then there's the ultimate day. That's the general answer. But here in Hamayim, it goes into it much more elaborate. Interesting mashal. See with Sudas Hasan, there are two types of meals that we do by already. Suda al mashachos naisa veisa kala, when it comes to the skala, it's a skala. Aga beyoim oisa hasan suda bebeisa when it comes to the hasan. I don't know what it means in practical terms. I guess that's the way it was done the olden days. So, there is a concept of Sudas kala and Sudas hasan. While there, there's a better marshal that explains it better. Let's say a king makes a shidduch with a kala which is not royalty. She lives in the periphery. What happens? He descends. He travels in the sense to the place of the Kala's father. And there, over there, in that location, he shows his greatness. The external part of his greatness. And the Sorim is an entourage that comes together with the king, also shows off to the people in the villages and the periphery what a great king is in a very external way. Interesting marshal. Okay, it's nagel also a little, and now time Melech Basad, it's still similar to Melech Basad. That the king, the villagers, which as a general rule is the people in the village are the simple folk. They're not capable of really grasping the ultimate greatness of the king. They only they get excited from external things. This is the way he said, the Edelkeit. It's interesting he uses the word Edelkeit because the marshal is just the king. But I guess, again, the Chassidus always, the Mashalim Chassidus also their own. From a Chassidus perspective, a king is a higher type of person. It's not just happens to be someone which happens to be king. He's more refined. He's more elevated. So the villagers don't have the capacity to appreciate his the nuances of his greatness. So that's step one. The king wants to marry a girl from the village. So he descends there and he shows them that aspect, his and his entourage show them that aspect that the simple folk could appreciate, get excited, because simple folk cannot appreciate the real greatness of the king. Then he takes the. I mean, we have to continue the mushroom. He doesn't say it. I guess later, when he takes the collar with him back home, and he comes back to his palace. Here, when he's back in his own town, it's not enough to show off the external aspects of his greatness, but he shows also the actual loftiness and greatness of his essential. Not just the external. The city dwellers.
Who cares?
What?
Why is that? Why is it contingent on that? What was it? Well,
Because they're
why
used
is
to
it?
it. They're not impressed with the fact that
No. I get. Yeah, I understand that. But why does the king change his thing according to the people that he's around?
Okay, in every location, he has to
Cater
to the needs of that the people there.
Okay, so he is catering to that. Okay, I got it.
Exactly, yeah, sure. King becomes as much about Shane Marshall. That's a interesting Marshall. The funny thing is that the second part of the Marshall has nothing to do with marriage, with wedding. The king can go like we know, Melech Basad and Melech Beir. Here it's part of the wedding ceremony somehow. So the first marshals go wild. I guess in the olden days they used to make two seudas. Another seuda. Okay, all obviously comes from the assumption that it says the Gemara and the chos darga, that the concept of marriage for chos and darkala means he lowers himself to the level. I mean, the assumption is that it's a descent. So the first the Vesakala, but the other chassan is not this is full glory. He just goes there to show that part of him that's lower. Then she takes the collar back to his own house, then makes another suda. That's something else. Okay, so okay. Michael and Mila, I think the Nimshal will relate to maybe a little better. Mila. So the Matan Torah of Shavuos in our mind compares to the first marshal. Like the chassan goes to the house of the color. It's like the king goes to the village. So what happens? There's a chitzain is the lost in the Matan. What does the king show? What does the Eibishter show? What does he reveal in Matan Torah? Only chitzain is the lost. Vayered aval ha-Sinai. Vayered aval ha-Sinai. Ha-Sinai plus Malchus. I guess it says somewhere that Hasin. It says in Kabbalah, Hasin is the Malchus. Malchus means it's the lowest madriga. Like to use the what says in another place, Hasin is Malchus, but Dibot Chitzenis. Walking. And it was also with a lot of sounds and lightning. We do the Malachim, a lot of angels, Mashikosov. It says in Tehillim, the pasuk in Tehillim describes what happened. Matan Torah, he says there's a lot of thousands of malachim there. After malachim, elam shachs b'asam when it's at Torah. We all know malachim that didn't receive the Torah. Malachim complained. So why do they bring malachim there? So that means the last the loss is basher. So that shows that Matan Torah was really something external. We see that the Yidden did receive the essence. There was a Gil Pnimis. Why do you say it's an Echitzenis? Say Ikar Gil Echitzenis. Zem Tzat Nishamas Be'etzah. Ikar Gil Echitzenis means the Be'emek Indian there was a Pnimi thing, but on the surface, not just the surface. Ikar Gil Echitzenis. the main way of the process was it's only external. What happened then? Only after Matan Torah, then started the ultimate gilu, Prince. But there itself was the Chizenius. Only later to the, I guess, to the Avodah, Eden, then the chief Sus. Brings a dogma from Shabbos. Hinen Kama Mitzvah Shabbos. See something similar Shabbos. Yes, Prince Shabta de Leila. The Binah Zoya, like Friday night we say V'Yenuchu Vo, and Shabbos day say V'Yenuchu Voi. And the Chlal, it says there are 2 levels in Shabbos. It's in other places. There's Shabbos is Shvisa Menucha, Menucha, and Shvisa Menucha Be'etz. Shvisa Menucha and Menucha Be'etz. We see it in a way even in the most practical terms. Friday night, we are very tired. So the Shabbos, the rest, the concept of rest Friday night, it's a sort of a negative thing. You just you're tired and you rest from all the hard work of the 6 days. So it's Shvisa Memelach. Shabbos day is a totally different experience. You already rested. Now you rest for the sake of rest. You don't rest from because you're tired. You rest because it's a day of rest. You just enjoy the rest. That's in a very practical terms. So that's now Kabbalah Chassidus explains that's supposed to a higher level of Gili. The Gili, the Amshachim Shabbos evening, Shabbos the Leila, is only a low madriga. He says here, there's halal. Halal means it's a result. It's a type of halal means it's a result of the avodah simei sachol. Mishator be'erev Shabbos zechel b'Shabbos means it's a result of the tircha. The spiritual level we reach Shabbos Friday night is really a continuation. It's a result of the avodah of the 6 days. That's why in practical terms it means we're tired from the work. And in spiritual terms, it means we reach that level that through our hard work of before, which was a halal. Now, was after zam shach the halal. Shub chnes menucha shal idei achar avodah v'giyur. Basically, it means it's a type of menucha, it's a type of rest, like I just explained it in simple terms. It's a rest that's a result of hard work, of effort. The year Shabbos the Yom. Then there's another level of Shabbos, like I said, the day, Shabbos day. Shukras Einag Atzmi. That is the level of Einag Atzmi, means essential delight, not resting from hard work, just plain rest. Plain sitting and enjoying being rested. What he says, he says, what does it mean in terms of Kabbalah? Shepres Hakal Tapuch and Kaddish Shepres Atikim. What he brings in is the lashon what we say in in Askina Sadasa before Kiddush. There are 3 types of Askina Sadasa. Each Sauda. There's the first Suda Friday night, there's the Suda of Shabbos day, and the Suda Shlishis. Each one is a different madrega in Gilui Elikus. So I don't know, it says Chakal Tabachim Kaddish. I think the we say Chakal, I think Kaddish Asan Sadavada. I don't have a Siddur here. Anybody have a Siddur? I have a Siddur next to me, but I don't remember. Oh, actually, I think I think in Friday night, if I remember correctly, Friday night said Chagal Tabuch and Kaddish. And Shabbos day we say Atika Kaddisho, and Mincha say Zeir Anpin. I remember correctly. But here it says
this is in Kiddush, right?
Not right before Kiddush. You have the
so that's the Chakal Tapuch condition. That's Friday night.
Friday night, exactly. What does it say? Shabbos day.
Right. Shabbos day.
So that's a Atika Kaddisho, no?
Yeah.
And what does it say?
Shal Shudas. Where is it?
There's not Kiddush.
There's no Kiddush. So where would we say it?
Right after
So that's the Zeir Anpin, the Atika Kadisha. Pulchan Kadisha, Asma Sadavada.
Okay, so the way the guy wrote it here was a terrible mistake, the way he wrote it up. I mean, unless it means to say that these two, or maybe it's to say these two madrigas, he said till now, okay, that's how you have to read it. That's Edition applies the first night. At night, Edition that's Sadis, that's Malchus. Shabbos day is Atik. Now it says Mincha Zeir Anpin. So there's a famous Maimer and Alter Rebbe Siddur about it, and at the end of Samach Vav, and then the Fine Beis. How does it fit? We all know Mincha is higher. So why is Shabbos day Atik and Shabbos and if it's Shalosh Shudas Zeir Anpin? We all know that Shalosh Shudas is higher. There's all pilpul and the Alter Rebbe Siddur about it, and then like I said, Samach Vav and Fine Beis. I mean, the Lomdas goes basically that the Zeir Anpin from Shalosh Shudas is really contains within the higher level than Atik Yomin that's in Shabbos day. There's a very long memory there, so I can't like give you the kicks of the jet. But that's what he's saying in the next line. You know, Menucha Shleima. We say in Shabbos in Mincha, Menucha Shleima Shataritz. So the ultimate Menucha Shleima is Mincha. And so that's three madrigas in Menucha. There's the Menucha Shlachar Malacha. That's the Menucha Friday night. There's the Menucha of Shabbos day, which is called Einak Atzmi, which is a higher level of Menucha. You're not tired anymore. So why are you resting? You're resting because you just enjoy being rested. And Shmincha is even a higher level that you already passed the first state of resting. It's even a higher level. There's no words in the language of Siddur. Einak Atzmi, Einak Poshut. There's all kind of words that describe this highest level of Tainuk. In our Maimer, he calls it Menucha Be'etzem.
We learned the Bilti Mortgage, Tainuk a Bilti Mortgage something.
Exactly, Tainuk Bilti Mortgage. Yeah, you're right. That's kind of shameless Tainuk. More Poshut. So what is it? All this entire thing he brings it as a dogma, right? So it's said when they get to Torah, there are two levels in Torah. There's the Torah the way it is by Matan Torah, the Torah the way it's later. So he says he gives a dogma to that from Shabbos Friday night to Shabbos day, and then he throws in Mincha, which is not really a third level. He doesn't even say it. But then he says something else. That's an important statement. That these three levels we just said about Shabbos, really, every mitzvah we can find these three stages. Okay, look, if you put your head to it, maybe we can figure out how each mitzvah we reach these three stages. Let's say the mitzvah. So let's get a marshal of a mitzvah, the mitzvah of shayfa, let's say. Mitzvah Tkiyas Shayfa. I guess there are three stages there. There's the lowest level, which is Bamshal to the Avodah from before. Then we can Al Kaponim in theory we can guess, so to speak, and estimate what that each mitzvah has these three stages. I said Azakov is Galite. All this might okay. We finish with the marshal of Shabbos. We get Chol mitzvahs. Remember, there came into the Shabbos marshal. What does it start the words? Indian commitments of Shabbos. So he started saying that Ikar Gilach Yitzayim is Matan Torah. Then there was the whole concept of the avodah from Matan Torah until Rashbi. That's what he's saying now. The Koyim Prince Asasim the Torah Shadi Rashbi. Shekol Chayav is Gas Asasim and Match from the Chitzaynis. Maybe that's the marshal. That in other words, till maybe what is if you can apply the marshal from Shabbos, the three stages are actually there. In other words, the third stage is Negei. So there is the Gil of Materas compared to Friday night. All the avodah between that and the Istarchus Rashbi is compared to Shabbos day, which is there is already a higher level, but it's still not. It's still chitzenius. Shekol You may have his gas assassin and matter in the Sitsonius, which is all Yonistal Kusoy, Oyosgalin, Nanako Zoya. So maybe that's the point here, that the Yemisal Kus is compared to Mincha. He doesn't say it clearly, but I guess maybe that's what he's saying. What I mean, Salkusik, Mavob is Zayash Gila Os, Koma Shaloi Gila Kalim Echai. It says in Zoya, remember I once told you that in Zoya there's a part called the Ido Zuta. In Zoya Hazinu, Ido Zuta, which was the small Farbringen. Ido means like a gathering. The small Farbringen that Rashbid made right before he passed away, and he was Megala the high. The most very high concepts in Kabbalah, in Chassid, in Pnimis HaTorah was Nisgalet then at that point in by the Ido Zuta, before he passed away. So that's the ultimate. The truth is, the Iker, as he says, the ultimate thing he reached after his neshama left his body. So that was the ultimate achievement of Gilui.
To who? To who? Who was it revealed to?
I mean, so in this, I guess somewhere in this world was the Gilui. Where to go, basically. I mean,
so you see, even after he passed away, the Gilui was here, Lamata.
Yeah, it was, but I mean, it's there was some kind of flow of spiritual Gilui in this world. I don't know, actually, maybe some Talmidim experience it then. I don't know. But then he says, the famous Igas HaKodesh, Simen Chav Zayin, Simen Zach, what does it say there? There's an expression in the Alter Rebbe over there in the Igas HaKodesh says that Chazal called if the person passes away, Shavak Chaim L'chol Chai, left life to every living being. Now, I think the Rebbe writes Ma'amakomis on it. If I remember correctly, the Ma'amakom for that is, I think when they get to Chalitza, when maybe Shtar Chalitza, משהו כזה, that when the person never passed away without children and his wife needs Chalitza, so there's a Shtar. It says over there that the brother, the other brother is necessarily Chalitza. So the brother passed away. The expression Chazal is Shavak Chaim L'chol Chai. He left life to all living beings, which is an interesting description of death. It says the Alter Rebbe in Igas HaKodesh makes a whole diuk in it. What's the diuk? Shemisha. So that means actually, first of all, Chazal talks about any person who passes away, but the Alter Rebbe says that this expression applies really to a tzaddik, like a tzaddik. That Misha Chai b'Torah, person whose life was Torah, which is a tzaddik, and Agis Rashbi. What happens? After he passes away, Shavak Chaim P'chinas Chaim Amiti. He leaves to his Talmud. You ask the question, who gets it? Yeah, the Talmidim. How? Look, one of these things. There's he doesn't bring it here, but we all talk about Yat. There's a concept called Yatim B'Chayoy. What it means in practical terms, there's such a concept that the tzaddik after his passing has a certain. That's the topic. Is the Alter Rebbe describes that he wrote when the Vitebsk passed away. He describes what is the effect of the passing of tzaddik on the generation, that it gives them a much higher level of spirituality, which is surprising.
Reb Zalman once, I remember after Gimel Tammuz, I was hanging out over there for Brengi.
Yeah.
Alter Rebbe schreibt in Tanya as mitachas haaretz, it shines stronger.
Right.
Something, the lashon over there.
Yeah.
But after that, there's a stone cold.
What?
Anyways, but after that, he said, "Mitachas haaretz is shines from Yeh. But after that, there's a stone cold." I remember he was like very
good. Thank you. All right, Tashainu the hell. But now when they get a point, what he's saying something which again, Chassidus always says that like something which in a way contrarian. The simple, he thinks simply. tzaddik passes away, it's a terrible thing for his students. They lost the teacher, they lost so Skamstal Rebentine says something extremely radical. The other Rabbi, when he passes away, there's a higher flow of spiritual energy that reaches his students. How is that possible? It's something which is not intuitive, it's counterintuitive. But as is the Indian, that's the Chiddush here. Chiddush is that it almost implies that while he was alive, like he said earlier here, he said, "Kol Chayav or Chitzainis." You see, the Rebbe says, for example, in the Alter also it says that, for example, like this, he's bound by his body, but the neshama is his body, so the ashpah is much higher. All these things are true, and but it's you have to be in a specific spiritual madrega to be able to digest it and appreciate it. But that's the truth. That's what it says. Only after his passing does he give the Chaim Amitim to his students. All right, so that's what happened to R'Dovid Olidort. Now it takes us back early into Maimah. What is until now, if I understood correctly from the Dugma from Shabbos, until now we're comparing what happened to R'Dovid while he was alive to what happened after his passing. We compare to Shabbos day in Mincha. I think so. He doesn't say it clearly, but I guess that's the implication. But now he takes us back to earlier in the Maimah. If you remember, earlier in the Maimah, he spoke about Sosim. He spoke about Sosim, the Raisa Sosim, the Kutshubrichus. He said there's really, remember, he said that Soiv is not the real Sosim. Remember, he said there's Mamala and Soiv. He said Soiv is not the real Sosim. The ultimate Sosim is Atzmut, which is above Mamala and Soiv. That's what it said earlier in our Maimah. Taking us back there. The difference between what happens after he passes away and before, R'Dovid was teaching Sosim B'chayav also. What is the difference, he says? The Sosim which is Shaykh L'Prince Agila, like Soiv Kol Almin, we said earlier, but it was actually quite explicit. So has some kind of connection, but then there's et with Sasam be'etzem we cannot even reach higher than Machshava. So now he goes back to that point. But in that gufa, it's interesting that he within the day of his passing, he splits into two parts. Like the Zohar says that before he passed away, he was Megala, very high level of Pnimis HaTorah. La'achas Dalkusa is even higher. All the regular Pnimis HaMitis in Yosasi. That summarizes what is the big Yom Tov that he has at the beginning of the Maimah. What is the great celebration of Hilulah R'Dovid? Hilulah Shegili Pnimis HaSasi. So again, it seems he never really addressed directly. He never addressed directly the question he asked in the beginning of the Maimah, why is it called a wedding? Right? So, but I guess when the mashal, it's tired to reconstruct the way he put the mashal on this page. So the mashal, let's go to the mashal of Seudah Chas and Seudah Kala. So basically, the Seudah in a chasana, one of the main part of the chasana is that the chasana and the kala connect. The way he sees it here is that the chasana reveals himself to the kala. In other words, he gives her his. He becomes her mentor, so to speak. That's very. He becomes he's Megala to the kala. So that's. And that madrig, that's what the chassan is. Chassan is the gila of the chassan to the kala. And that go with the two madrigas, he says. There's the chassan is the beisa kala, like the melech was going to the kfar. And then there's the kala is the beisa chassan. That's why R'Dovid, the status of R'Dovid is called the Hilulah, just like Matan Torah is called chassan or Matan Torah is compared to Sudas Kala. Like the Melech goes to the village. It's also chassan. It's also a relation of the chassan to the kala, but it's a much deeper and higher level. It's like we're based on chassan. We're based on Amen Hamelech. That's the ultimate gilus. That's why it's called Hilulah Drashbi. All right. Should we start the Maimer again? Any?
We could, but I just so in simple terms, the after the R'Dovid passed away. So what happened? We got more like Chassidus kind of thing. Like there's a deeper it more was awesome. Like what happened? We got a bit. Wow.
The world became, if I understand correctly, that's what happened. The world became a more more spiritual world, and so it's the spirit of Nimis Atera since the Istalkus became more relevant in this world. That's what happened. I mean, exactly that worked out technically ways nothing, but okay, that was the beginning of the whole thing. The Talmidim of Rashbi wrote down the Zohar, and that started the whole process of the Gil of Nimis Atera. Again, I'm not work technically. We come to Matan Torah, we have a much more better technical description that there was Matan Torah, they gave the reference. We get to Lag Ba'omer, we don't have a clear, but that's the general idea that in Lag Ba'omer, that there was the day with the Pnimis Sasim De'eraisa was Nisgala, was expressed in this world, so the world became a keli for Pnimis Atera. Later on it says, for example, das Kislev is also a Shoshana Pnimis Atera, Shoshana, something's not Atera. Yeah. There are two things. First of all, because we live in the post, we live after all these things happen. We can't imagine how the world was without it. But it's possible that before that stage, our life is already, we live in our own time and environment where after all these things were achieved. So that's maybe to us, it's a given, etc. But at one point it wasn't like that. And that's the chiddush of Lag Ba'omer. And like I said, later the Kislev also was a special gil. But Tim is at the Gufa, more revelation. All these things are madrigas. Can you see me now?
No.
I'm sorry, something happened. I'm sorry.
No, it's good.
No, okay. I'm saying is
okay.
So that's why we have to understand it. That just like Matan Torah, the world became a different world. Not necessarily that everybody who lived somewhere in Africa felt either way different. I don't know, but the fact is the world became a different type of world. It's a caliph for this type of spiritual experiences, and yeah. All right. So okay, let's start the Maimer again. Reish Chav Ches. So now we know the question. We just said the answer. Number one, the word Hilullah in simple Aramaic means a wedding celebration. That's point one. That's question number one. Why is passing of Rashbi called a celebration? So just not stam celebration, wedding celebration. More specifically, not only that, the question is much stronger. The start of the Shal Tzadikim, Nikolay Matainis. The only one I remember is Moshe Rabbeinu. Says no, that some people know it fast and Zayin Odom because it's start as Moshe Rabbeinu, and it's logical too. Like I said, that common sense, when a tzaddik passes away, it's a sad day. It's a sad day. We don't have the tzaddik in this world anymore. So it's a day of mourning. It's a day of tinies, fasting. That makes sense. And the halacha is that Zayin Odom, there's a minhag to fast. So that the question is made stronger. Not the question was even before that. But what's the point of making a celebration? Post passed away. Not only we find other tzaddikim, not only is it a celebration, it's a day of mourning, it's a day of fasting. Why is it be different? That's question, point number one. day of Matan Torah, the day the Eibishter gave the Torah, Shavuos, is called Chasan. The Mishnah says in Seif Meseches Tainis, Tzeno Reno Redon, Hamish Asabaov, says Tzeno Reno B'nois Tzin B'melech Yehuda, B'melech Melech Shlomo, Ato Sheiter Le'imoi V'em Chasanos V'em Simchas Liboy. Says the Mishnah, B'em Chasanos V'em Chas Liboy, V'em Chasanos V'em Matan Torah. That Matan Torah is called the day of the wedding, of the wedding celebration. He doesn't ask us a question. He just says we see another day in the calendar, which is described as Yom Chasanos, like Ba'emer and Shavuos. So there must be connection. There must be some kind of connection. There must be some kind of difference. That's what he's going to say in the end of the Maimer. But here in the beginning of the Maimer, at least the way the Maniach wrote it down, he didn't elaborate what the question is. The question is, so what is the reason why it's Chasan? So it's going back again to a very famous statement in Zohar, which actually another time, I didn't mention the first time. The truth is, this exact expression, the way it is, Chassidus always quotes it, is not found in the Zohar that we have. Somebody, I don't know who, made up some investigation, and he found that we find this expression the first time in Ramchal. Ramchal is not even that much of a makul. It seems to be like, first of all, it's possible that parts of Zohar, a lot of times it says in Tanya also, right in the beginning of the Perek base, there's a Zohar, man the nofach mitaychen nofach. There's no such, we don't, in our Zohar we have, it doesn't exist. But a lot of earlier sources quote that location, that expression, the name of the Zohar. So the assumption is that the Zohar that we have, that got to us, was printed in a certain point from certain manuscripts. It's possible that there was parts of the Zohar in manuscript that never made it to print. And by the way, we find similar things. I'm trying to go a bit, but we find similar things when we get to Yerushalmi also. There's I think there's a booklet, all the Yerushalmi that are quoted in the Rishonim that our Yerushalmi doesn't have. Which means the Rishonim, before the invention of print, sadly the people had manuscripts. So some Rishonim say Isa Yerushalmi. The Yerushalmi we have, it doesn't exist. Which means that when the first print of Yerushalmi happened, the manuscript that the printer had, the manuscripts didn't have that piece. But the Rishonim who had manuscripts before that happened to have that piece. So it's possible we can say the same thing about Zohar. There's some parts of the Zohar manuscripts that existed that didn't reach us in printed form, because whenever the Zohar was printed, the printer didn't have that part, but others saw the manuscript. I'm just saying this just to give you a general overview, but it's not something, just you should know in case someone asks it. But the point is that Chassidus always says, Isa b'Zohar, Klas Kshom, Skashon, Dobe Do, Yisrael, Yisrael, that exact terminology we can't find exactly the way it is. It's similar. But the concept is there. Kulam Dargin al Dargin, and it says, no, a more important point, but at last Kshorin we'll talk later. Right in the beginning of this Maimer, he talks about the second quote from the Zohar. Kulu, all three of them, Yisrael, Reis, and Gutchabrichu, have two parts. Dargin al Dargin, two levels, two steps. Sasim vegalia. Each one of them has the hidden and the revealed. There's Sasim the Kutchabrichu and Gali the Kutchabrichu, the hidden part, the concealed part of level of Kutchabrichu, and the Galia. Sheyesh Sasim vegalia Kutchabrichu ve'Reis ve'Yisrael. That's the statement we get from that shtickle Zohar. In a Pchinas, so now he's going to go into a whole discussion of what does it mean, Sasim Begal, in order to develop. In the Prince what does it mean when we say that the Ebershter godliness has two levels? Hidden and revealed. Was meint das? The inner Likus be'etzem sasem v'nela mein kolchai. Godliness, that's actually an obvious statement. That Likus be'etzem, godliness, essentially is something that's hidden mein kolchai, and from any living being. She'ein Prince Hasaga. It's not really shaykh to us to be grasped with our intellect. She'ein shaykh shum adam yoyim shemasa Likus. It's impossible for a human being to say, I grasp godliness. Because godliness, not only because lack of our capacity, godliness by definition, it's something which is higher than intellect, higher than something that can be captured by our intellect. He's hidden and concealed from any living being. That's a sus. But on the other hand, there is a part of godliness which is revealed. What is it? It is revealed to us through his actions. His actions are revealed to us. We see the result. We see his actions. We see his creation. We see his Torah. A lot of things he reveals. So that Eibishter is a real thing, which is not only is it not revealed, it's impossible, it's unrevealable, it's impossible to be grasped by human being. And then there's the power that his actions are there. You see them. Derech Marshal, what is a marshal? These two levels of godliness, Machshava with Dibur. So we have the famous standard marshal. Thought versus speech. Shedibur pres gili. The dibur is gili. The machshava will help. Anything a person thinks is hidden. Shem kama sheyasher lei de mashachoshet. No matter how much a person thinks, the person next to him will never know what he thinks. He could see that he's preoccupied in his thoughts. But it's impossible to know what he's thinking. So that's an example, that's a marshal and something that's hidden. On the other hand, speech. And it's guilty. That speech means when you say something, you reveal what you think, you reveal what you feel. So what it means, the whole concept of dibur is, what is the concept of speech? It's a communication. It communicates what you have within you to the other. It takes us to a different point here. Like we all know, we spoke about it several times, that Chassidus in Tanya, he said there's a difference machshava and what it, in other words, person understanding and feeling as not thought. Understanding is understanding, feeling is feeling. When you think about it, that's a levush. Thinking is that aspect of your nefesh that reveals to yourself how do you feel and how do you understand and comprehend things. So machshava is not the total helem, it's gilu legabe atzma. Dibur gilu helem atzma legabe azulas. Through speech, you reveal to the other the hidden part of yourself. The concept of speech is only meant to communicate to the other. For yourself, the person for himself does not need the speech. He can think. He doesn't have to speak to himself. So all this is a mashal. This mashal we understand when we try to describe and understand, so to speak, the madreges nalikus. The pasuk describes creation. He says creation was done by dvar havai. by the Eibishter's speech, ruach pi, which doesn't mean another. In this particular context, means the same thing. That means that it's the spirit of his mouth, basically speech. So we see that creation is done through speech. And there's also a pasuk, Chazal saying, that the world was created to 10 utterances, 10 speeches, which is like actually it says in pasuk Bereshit, what speech. What does speech mean? That shedibo b'chinas gilui. So we see from these two psukim that when we say that the Eibishter created the world to speak, it means the meaning of that statement is that creation is an expression of the Eibishter revealing himself. Now he jumps in. It's interesting. He jumps in. So until now, we talk about something which is quite abstract. Talking about how the Eibishter creates the world. Now he's going a little more specific in our personal experience. That each of us, when we think about we see the world around us, the Eibishter created in the way that we can that aspect of the Eibishter that reveals himself is revealed to us through seeing his creations. And that Gufi goes into passes it into various stages, various levels. Mishu b'daga tachtoino, person is in a low state of being, a low mode of avodas Hashem. The way he grasps and captures godliness, he gets from this lower world. From the fact that the worlds were created, that reveals godliness to him. Number one, the Chaldees is the actual creation. More specifically, each of the almost infinite parts of creation has a unique godly life force. There's a lot of nivoim. How abundant, how your creations. And each one of these creatures, creations, has its own level of chayes aliki, according to its nature, according to its parameters. That's one way that we perceive godliness. That we mean which I believe it means laws of nature. Laws of nature. We see God's the Eibishter's skill in this world to the multitude of creation, plus to the laws of nature. So all this expresses to us that's a gilui of likus. Mishu b'dreiga al-yena, but there's someone who can reach a higher level of perceiving godliness. Ma'aseh likus mitzvah shamayim b'galgalim shleim. There's a way of perceiving godliness from a higher level of being, which is the level of the tzvah shamayim, the fact that the heavenly bodies turn. There, we also what gives them the power to turn? It's the godly life force. So he says, "Shuba'em elikus einei be'chinas ema v'esta kol kach." In the heavenly bodies, the godliness is not as hidden as it is in the law of creations in our own planet. Now, to understand this, he goes on and explains where we see it. Okay, so we'll just follow the way he describes it. But in this law world, our own world, the garden is hidden, concealed. We are physical, very physical and material beings. We're not talking about the fact that, like it says in Tanya, showing but that the world has aspects that it opposes godliness, contradicts godliness. That's not what we're talking. In this world, in our own world, godliness is extremely hidden. The understanding of godliness and knowledge of godliness doesn't exist. Person can live without knowing there's a God in this world. And the world is created in such a way that it feels totally independent. In the heavenly bodies and in the spheres, he says, godliness in those creations is not as hidden, not hidden as much. Says that I think is alluding to what it says in Rambam. Ilchas Seder Torah. Hagalgalim bal idei v'askel masigim zbayra. We say it. What do we say in Keloden? It says Eisim Beimas and Kainim. Okay, in Keloden, Maram is also that the heavenly bodies have a certain spiritual, the higher spiritual level. Masigim es Kainim. Masigim is Kamoiken. There's another aspect to the fact that they're more connected. Emches Bittul. The heavenly bodies are in a state of Bittul today. Kosov, Inyan. What we say in davening, the pasuk in Nehemiah, I think, Tzva Shamayim L'Chamish Tachtim. The heavenly bodies not only do they perceive godliness, they mishtach, they bow to you. Shezeu Inyan Asivov Shalem, Asher Mesavin L'Mayra, Sheshchina B'Mayra. We spoke about it also, that the natural, the way Chassidus explains, and the way it's understood also, if you look in Rambam, that the heavenly bodies, the heavenly stars, the planets, their natural tendency is to turn from west to east. The yearly cycle of the sun is, I'm not sure about the moon, and the sun, all the stars is really from west to east. And the moon too, actually. What happens? How come every day they turn from east to west? Says the Gemara, Shechina b'Mayrev. The turning from east to west is an expression of Bittul Telikus, because the Shechina is in the west. The Mele, the fact that they turn in that direction is an expression of the bowing to the Eibishter. Okay. So there's a Gemara in Baba Basra, Chafei, that talks about what Shechina b'Mayrev means, and that's you touched on the topic last time also. Maybe we'll talk about it now. Anyway, okay. So
Okay, yeah. Have a good Shabbos.